Good morning, everyone. We are smack dab in the middle of day 3 of theCUBE's live coverage of KubeCon CloudNativeCon 2026 live in Amsterdam. I'm your host, Rebecca Knight, and I'm sitting alongside two of my fantastic colleagues from theCUBE, Rob Strechay and Paul Nashawaty. Guys, we're wrapping, it's almost over. I can't believe it.
It's been crazy. It's been so much energy at this event always, but this one in particular has seemed even more so. The engagement of people has just been fantastic, and everybody we've had on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think that this event, if I understand it correctly, was the highest attended event with over 13,000 attendees. You know, I was here too, in 2023, they capped it at 10,000 people. There was 2,000 people on the wait list. So 13,000 of our closest friends. It's been really busy.
From 100 countries around the world. So it's also feels like a mini UN walking around the halls. And I think you're absolutely right. I mean, this is always such a community-oriented event, but it definitely feels like a very vibrant, collaborative spirit here, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we've had on the Deaf and Hard of Hearing working group from the CNCF with their Merge Forward initiative to bring in diversity as well. And I think that this has always been a very welcoming community, to put it mildly, but to see how they're going and looking for people and focusing on their abilities to be inside and helping do this has been fantastic this week. And I think that group has been growing massively. They're always looking for more, but it's one of those things that it's just a vibrant community.
100%, and speaking about favorite guests and interesting guests, having on Spotify yesterday, talking about Backstage and how, I mean, it's a really big gesture to say, hey, we've got this really cool tech, let's not hoard it, let's actually open it up to the world. I mean, that's a pretty sharing and generous thing to do, especially in the tech industry, which is not known for that.
Exactly.
I mean, it really gets at the open source community and what everyone is trying to do for each other here.
Yeah, I think it's important to note. I mean, like one of the main themes was so Spotify giving back with Backstage, awesome initiative, awesome kind of growth there. But we have to kind of highlight the fact that we're here in Europe, right? And the themes of the show is governance, compliance, regulations, and data sovereignty, right? And no surprise, right? When you have the EU CRA that's going into effect this year, that's a big, big factor. I've been walking the show floor, I've been having many, many conversations about those. So that's a big area. I think that Backstage is going to help accelerate these projects. I think that, the vendors that are here are very much aware of it. I'm looking forward to see what happens in North America, because the themes are usually very different, but here, definitely those were the themes that I was in tune to.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting who's graduated and not graduated out of the different projects. We got to talk to a number of them. The KubeVirt folks have put in September, haven't quite gotten through the knothole yet. They're into the second phase, I think, of graduation. We also talked to OpenFeature folks earlier with Dynatrace, and they're looking at going towards graduation as well. I think there's a maturity to the cloud native part of this that's coming on, not just the Kubernetes. I mean, we're now almost 12 years in with Kubernetes. It's a big thing. So now things like Argo is 10 years old, and other things are 10 years old, and we're starting to see that maturity. It is the de facto standard at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's excuse me, it's interesting. I mean, 10 years old, you would think that that's plenty of time for these companies to kind of get their head around this. But yet we're still seeing complexity and skill gap issues. We're still seeing those are the challenges. And then adding AI on top of it is just amplifying it, because it's happening very fast, accelerating. I mean, I love having those conversations. We had Krob on from the OSS. That was a great conversation. The open community here is really kind of trying to overcome some of these challenges, but I think the more we're trying to overcome, we're also seeing some areas that are exposing other things as well.
Yeah, what was one of your favorite things that we talked about?
Well, there's so many cool projects and cool new technologies. Definitely my favorite was the robotic dog, and this is from ITQ, and they're not a robotic dog company. They're not robotics, but it was all just a proof of concept about showing the architecture and showing enterprises, here's how we can do this, and watch our dog that has been trained to learn gestures, and we can do this too for your enterprise and what your needs are. So it was a very clever and creative way to show enterprises what they can do with their tech. Yeah, so absolutely.
And I think it tied in really well to what Paul was saying about the big theme of sovereignty, and obviously AI, the AI community is blowing up here, and Kubernetes is becoming the de facto standard for building your AI, and I think that proof of concept where they're using OpenShift in the back end, but the dog itself is running based off of communicating with a large language model that's running on Kubernetes in the back end, and the stack that's on it that has its small language model that knows, and they talked about their 50 training runs to get it from 70% up to 90 some odd percent of accuracy with the sign language, so it was very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great example. I mean, there was also talking to OpenSearch. I was talking to Bianca Lewis, which she's going to be on at the next session here, but I was talking to her this week, and she's talking about that, like where they've evolved, right? They've changed from just being the observability side to really being focused in on the AI front.
Yeah, I mean, AI has been a theme throughout everything. Absolutely. Here. I think that a big piece of it has been how do you control AI? Like you said, with OpenSSF, we had a really great conversation around how you're securing it and how fast things are going, and I think
and how do you make it sustainable too? I mean,
yes.
that was a big part of our conversation with Tintri yesterday too.
That's right.
And he was really passionate about it, and it's interesting to hear people being so thoughtful about these really hard, complex questions.
Phil was very passionate yesterday. Yes, he was. It's absolutely true though. I mean, it's he's passionate because he's right. He's saying like people are burning oil for stupid things, right? And he's like, why? Right. Why do that? Like, you don't have to do that. You can maximize your investment by capitalizing it together. So I think it's a very, very great. And if you haven't seen that, watch that session because that was a great session as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And lest you think technology is just for geeks like you guys, no. It's also a children's book. We had Bill Mulligan the other day on from Cilium, and he has written this very colorful children's book that explains Kubernetes and explains security and network policy. I mean, just great stuff. So anyway, it looks really fun for your kiddos, and maybe we'll also help them go to bed on time too. So just saying.
I'm like, these every year, and then we talked about the documentary that's coming out.
Oh, right, exactly.
That came out last night. I think the CNCF has just done a wonderful job of really enabling the community and enabling these, different projects to be highlighted.
Yes.
And I think, the companies that come here, of course, they're they want to make revenue, but at the same time, they're contributing a massive amount to open source. And I think that's what's so fun, is to see the community coming together that's very passionate about helping out others and stuff like that. I mean, we even had NVIDIA on the main stage on day one talking, kind of bridging the gap from last week at GTC to this week. And then we actually talked to, Kevin from Vulture, the CMO from Vulture, about this bridging that gap as well from last week. So I think you start to look at how the community is evolving and how many more users of the technology are also participating.
Yeah, well that is something that it really has become apparent. So much more involvement from end users here. So what do you think that will mean for where the community goes, the next journey, the next chapter, Paul?
Yeah, well, I mean, we like some of the segments we had on, we had Red Hat on, we had SUSE on, right? They were also giving back to the communities, right? Where is it going? I mean, look, it's going to evolve, right? I mean, people are looking at how to maximize what they're doing, but also trying not to be so focused on being a specialist and letting generalists do the job, right? I mean, we see in our research, 67% of organizations are hiring generalists over specialists. That's showing here. Right, and largely due to the fact that AI is an accelerator to help you do your job. It doesn't replace your job. It helps you do. It's a tool. It's a tool to do.
It's a buddy.
It's a buddy.
It's a buddy.
But like you can use a hand screwdriver or you can use a drill, and it's the same thing, right? So I think that's really where the community's going.
Right. Mark Twain was apparently the first author who used a typewriter. He wrote Huckleberry Finn on a typewriter.
There you go.
AI is a typewriter.
It is.
In and of itself. I mean, as someone of our guest said, at the end of the day, AI is just another workload that you're running. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
I agree, and I think when you start to look at where this is going, and I think, we know the open source, I would say, the number of open source activities going on this year is insane. I mean, next week is MCP Dev in New York City. Then there's open source
OSS and Open Observability Summit. There's a whole slew of,
And then they're actually going back to India, back to China, I believe to Japan as well. So I think they're bringing this all around, which is fantastic because I think it is, and I think Jonathan, who's going to be on in a minute or two, was talking about how, hey, the largest contributions have actually come out of Europe in here. And then second is the US, but when you start to look at that, that's pretty impressive about that. And then you have India and China behind that, which is just talks to the global nature of what's going on. And standardization absolutely helps. It helps from a security perspective, it helps from an abilities perspective, it is leveling the playing field, which I think has to happen for AI to really be what it needs to be.
Indeed, indeed. Well, this has been a fabulous 3 days with both of you, so thank you so much.
Great.
It's been really a lot of fun, and there's still more to come. There's still more to come of theCUBE's live coverage of KubeCon CloudNativeCon EU, live from Amsterdam. I'm Rebecca Knight for Paul Nashawaty and Rob Strechay. Stay tuned for more. You're watching theCUBE, the leader in enterprise tech news and analysis.